I'm calling to order this special meeting of the Common Council of Quartzsite, Wednesday, February 6, 2013 at 3:02 p.m. Is there a member of the audience would like to do the invocation, please? If not, we'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Why don't you do the pledge, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Foster, Vice Mayor Jewett,
Present.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Kelly, here, Councilmember Crooks, here, Councilmember Workman, here, Councilmember Orgeron.
Here. Approval or amendment of agenda, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being no discussion, we'll go for the vote. All in favor of approving the agenda as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. New business, Councilmember Orgeron.
Item 1 would be a discussion and possible direction regarding the use of town letterhead in a communication written by a member of the town council, but not authorized or approved by action of the town council. And with that, I provided each of you with a copy of a letter submitted by Mayor Foster on town letterhead, representing the council and the town as a whole. He had no authorization to do this. We have a legal responsibility to maintain all communication here at Town Hall. This document was not filed with the town clerk. We have an ordinance that prohibits.
Where's the ordinance at? Did you put it in the packets?
I didn't make the package, Ms. Workman. The town clerk
Usually
did.
they have them with them.
Ms. Workman, you would need to ask the town clerk for that. I don't make the packets.
I believe, Laura, you've got it in the papers and I gave you.
Are they straight up?
They might be in those papers.
Oh, okay.
See if it's there.
The ordinance itself?
Yeah.
I just not here. Would you like me to read this, council?
Yes, please.
This is under section 2 of the ordinances
for the town of Quartzsite.
Excuse me, but I was wondering why it wasn't backed up in our council packet.
We didn't put it in.
Why?
We didn't put it in. We can certainly read it to you now and get copies to you. I'm happy to do that. This is section 2, chapter 2, mayor and council. Specifically section 2-2-4 addresses powers and duties of the mayor. This is by ordinance 10-06 and 11-10. The preamble indicates, pursuant to Arizona revised statutes, in addition to being a member of the common council, the mayor is the town's chief executive officer. All authority in town government ultimately resides with the common council, of which the mayor comprises 1/7 of its membership. Except as set forth in the Arizona Constitution and the Arizona revised statutes, the mayor has no duties, responsibility, or authority not delegated by the council. This section sets forth the duties, responsibility, and authority delegated by the common council to the mayor. B, prior delegations withdrawn. All delegations of duties, responsibility, or authority expressed or implied by any section of the Town of Quartzsite Code, the zoning ordinance, or the Town of Quartzsite, Arizona, the Quartzsite Town Council procedure policy, the Town of Quartzsite personnel policy, or any other resolution or ordinance passed before August 23, 2011 is hereby withdrawn. Duties and responsibility. The mayor shall execute the legislative agenda of the common council. The mayor shall sign all ordinances, resolutions, and other enactments passed by a majority of the common council. The mayor may note his non-concurrence with the majority, but may not refuse to sign any ordinance, resolution, or enactment passed by a majority of the common council. The mayor shall perform any other duty specifically imposed by Arizona revised statutes. The mayor shall perform any other duty specifically imposed by any ordinance, resolution, or other enactment passed by a majority of the common council after October 1st, 2011. Authority. The mayor shall have only such authority as expressed or implied by Arizona revised statutes. The mayor shall not have the authority to declare any emergency or to take unilateral action not specifically permitted or required by Arizona revised statutes on behalf of the town or the common council. The mayor shall not make any statement in his or her capacity as mayor without the express approval of a majority of the common council. The mayor shall not use town letterhead in any correspondence without the express approval of a majority of the common council. The mayor shall not represent the town before any other town, city, county, state, or federal government or agency without the express approval of a majority of the common council. And this same section provides for penalties for any action in excess of delegation or failure to perform. And by the way, Councilman Workman, these ordinances and codes are all on the website and accessible to the public. So they are fully displayed and available to anyone and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Manager.
Yes. Okay, according to his letter, he refers to January 29th, 2013. Although the letter was undated, he specifically mentions January 29th, 2013 as if it's already passed. I was later informed that this was actually postmarked on January 31st. So it was clearly within the time period that he was seated as the mayor. So, no, I don't think we need to read the letter. So as such, I would like to, or I guess before I make my motion, to open it for discussion.
I think discussion comes after the motion.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we direct Mayor Foster to file all previous correspondence sent on town letterhead with the town clerk for filing. I would also like to direct Mayor Foster to bring all written transmissions to be sent on town letterhead before the council for approval before he disseminates or mails. I would also like that we direct the interim town manager to correspond with each recipient of this transmission and notify them that this letter and any subsequent letter not signed by the council is, one, not approved by the council and does not reflect the views and the position of the town. Two, that she complete a public records request from each of these agencies to cover the period of October 2012 through the current date. And three, to request that each of these agencies report all future transmissions to the town upon receipt.
Question, do you mean 2011, not 2012?
No, just October of 2012, since he was sworn in as mayor.
Okay.
Through current.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have one little addition to Councilmember Ogeron's.
Speak up.
I'm sorry. I have one amendment to Mr. Ogeron's motion. I'd like to include on the list for this direction to be included to the Attorney General of the state of Arizona and the governor. And the governor. That would be an amendment to the motion. Not that.
Has anybody mentioned the Attorney General?
I just did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she included to my motion,
Yeah.
she included the Arizona Attorney General and the governor's office.
We now have an amended motion. Do you wish to amend? Take the amendments to your motion?
Yes. I wish that I motion that we, I move that we make a motion that we accept it as amended.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have an amended motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Ms. Anderson?
Okay, I would like to point out that everybody has their right, freedom of speech. So what is the issue today is the fact this was done without council approval. We are a council of 7. It was done without council approval. That is the problem with this.
Mr. Foster is entitled to speak as a private citizen on his own personal stationery, not mentioning the fact that he is mayor. That is his right, as it is the right of everybody in this town. But as has just been pointed out, if he wishes to speak as mayor, he must seek the approval of this council. And it's not covered in this agenda, but there are other areas where he also has spoken as mayor without
Yes.
approval.
This has
Ms.
happened.
Gillen?
This has happened too many times. He's
Oh.
been censored before.
Yes,
These
yes.
things by the law says they have to be on file in this office. None of them are. We have no idea what some of them are.
Right, we have the legal responsibility. We have to maintain a copy of all communications. And we have none that he has made. And that's why it's imperative that he turn over all correspondence that he has put out on town letterhead, where he represents himself at the town and the mayor.
Any further discussion?
Is there any penalties?
Do we want to open this up for public comment?
I make a motion to open it up for public comment.
Second?
All in favor of opening for public comment? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes carry.
I'm Skip Gallup, and I just have a question. Are there any penalties that can be levied against Mr. Foskett?
Can I respond?
You sure?
Mr. Gallup, I would like to say that at this point, I'm not looking for punitive. There are, yes. What I would like to seek the first time around is compliance. If he fails to comply, then yes, by all means, that would be my next step.
Maybe town manager could
Let me just
read
make one-
read the part of the ordinance that does have the
Let me make a short
penalties.
comment, and then
Okay.
I think that's appropriate. Is this on?
I don't think so.
Is it turned on?
You got a big.
Now it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
This is not the first time this has come up, this particular subject with this particular person.
Yes, sir.
So how many chances does he get? If I run a stop sign, how many chances does the policeman give me?
None.
I guess that depends on the officer that stops you.
My comment there would be, this is a new term and a new council. We give him the benefit of the doubt, this time only.
So would you go ahead and read the ordinance and the penalties for Mr.
I will. There are two further sections, items within the section that I have read. The first one reads, action in excess of delegation. In addition to being subject to censure as set forth in Quartzsite Town Council Policy Procedure Section 9, if a majority of the Common Council determine that the mayor has acted in excess the Common Council's delegation of duties, responsibilities, or authority, the Common Council shall direct the town prosecutor to consider charging the mayor with a civil violation under this section, or the town prosecutor may, of his or her own volition, charge the mayor with a civil violation under this section. If the town prosecutor brings such a charge, and if the town magistrate determines by a preponderance of evidence that the mayor has exceeded his or her delegated authority, the magistrate shall impose a fine of not less than $20 and not more than $2,000. Finally, failure to perform. In addition to being subject to censure as set forth in Quartzsite Town Council Procedure Policy Section 9, if a majority of the Common Council determine that the mayor has failed to perform any duty or responsibility imposed on him or her by this section, any other ordinance, statute, or law, the Common Council shall direct the town prosecutor to consider charging the mayor with a civil violation under this section or a criminal charge of nonfeasance in public office as defined by Arizona Revised Statutes. Or the town prosecutor may, of his or her own volition, charge the mayor with a civil violation under this section or a criminal charge of nonfeasance in public office as defined by Arizona Revised Statutes. If the town prosecutor brings a civil charge and if the town magistrate determines by a preponderance of evidence that the mayor has failed to perform as required by this section, the magistrate shall impose a fine of not less than $20 and not more than $2,000. If the town prosecutor brings a criminal charge of nonfeasance of public office and the town magistrate finds the mayor guilty, the mayor shall be subject to the maximum criminal penalty available for such a violation. If the town prosecutor brings both a civil and a criminal charge, and the mayor is found responsible for the civil charge and guilty of the criminal charge, the mayor shall be subject to both the criminal offense. They shall offset any fines imposed for the civil offense. That's it.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Before we vote, could the motion be read again to us? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we need to understand what we're doing here.
I understand. I can play it back for you.
Whatever would work.
Would you like to read it again?
Yeah. And you ever read that?
See, I knew that would be it. Yes.
You got the amendment on there.
As amended, I motion that we direct Mayor Foster to file all previous correspondence sent on town letterhead with the town clerk for filing. That we also direct Mayor Foster to bring all written transmissions to be sent on town letterhead before the council for approval before dissemination or mailing. To direct the interim town manager to correspond with each recipient of this transmission to include the Arizona Attorney General and the Governor's Office. That this transmission and any subsequent letter not signed by the council is not our reviews. And that it is not approved by the council and does not reflect the views of the town. 2, to complete a public records request from each agency to include the Arizona Attorney General and the Governor's Office to cover the period from October of 2012 through the current date. And 3, to request that each of these agencies report all future transmissions to the town upon receipt.
Does the record reflect that?
It will.
Thank you. Being no further discussion,
Just a minute.
Okay.
Somebody else.
Hi, Council. Shanana Ray Goldenberg. I have a couple of questions, and I'm concerned that there's no deadline set for these actions. And what are the penalties if those actions are not completed by that deadline? And if I were a citizen and I decided to use town letterhead to write a letter and proclaim something, wouldn't that be considered theft? So I'm asking that maybe you consider that as well.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sandra Gilbert. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm only speaking for myself as a tax-paying citizen in Quartzsite, Arizona. And I would like to say that from prior knowledge myself as being just a citizen, I know as a fact that it would be a nice request to go all the way back to 2010 for documents that have been done like this that have been proven innocent for many people in our community. This is a repeat offender, repeated behavior. It's unacceptable to the citizens, to the council, to our community, to our new town manager, and to everyone. It's very disrespectful, and just because you think you can do something doesn't mean that it's right. There's a moral standard here, and the definition of mayor is not that. It's to be a community bonder, a public servant to all, to the community. I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any further discussion or comments? Ms. Kelly?
What are you going to do? You're going to just say this is it, this is the last time? What are we going to do?
We're going to vote on the motion,
This
I'm
needs to
assuming.
stop. We can't let it keep going on. We
I
can't
agree.
give him more chances. He's been doing it how long?
It would be nice if we had one of our attorneys here to guide us on this, but
We have Susan.
I understand Ms. Kelly's comment.
Mrs. Susan Goodwin is standing by cell phone if we would like to contact her by phone. She is available.
Go ahead.
I would like to and ask her if we would be allowed to go back to 2010.
I can tell you, you can't do that.
We can't do that.
Yes. Their cell phone,
Here it is.
Yeah, the phone right there. I don't know how to work it, though. You do.
I'm not sure if it does.
Get a lady who knows how to work it all.
Ah, this one does.
There we go.
Susan, it's Laura Bruno calling. I'm here in the council chambers with the council, and they have some questions. We are holding our public meeting, and I'm going to turn this over to the council if it's all right. Thank you.
Ms. Kelly, I think you had the floor.
Yes, Can you hear me, Susan?
Yes, I can.
Okay. This has been going on for a long time, and we need to do something now. Can you advise us, what can we do instead of just saying, this is it, this is the last time? This has been going on since 2010 or whenever the first time he was in office. And it goes on, and we don't know where any of them, or all of these letters are. So what can we do?
Well, our advice was that you starting today, our advice was that you take the proper steps to establish the violation, if any, of the town or the ordinance requirement regarding the majority of council approval before sending out letters on letterhead. I said that because I was not there in 2010, I wasn't there in 2011, and I wasn't there for most of 2012, and I don't know exactly what the facts were previously. It was my recommendation that you start from today and be sure that you have given an opportunity for the process for the future to be followed by mayor and in fact any other council members who want to use the town letterhead. So we can say, what can you do? Our recommendation is that you, starting today, take the steps that are necessary to establish violation of the ordinance. And then if the problem is not corrected going forward, that you then will consider other steps that can be. I can't look back and see what happened in the past, and I wasn't inclined to think that that was the best way to go.
Thank you.
Susan, Norma Crooks. Yes, one of the members of the community wanted to know if we could put a time limit on this advisory, like maybe a week or 2 weeks or something like that, and then possibly, I think, have another meeting and then go forward from that, like give some time for compliance with the first two provisions here.
Sure. And that'd be fine.
Thank you.
So what you're saying, Susan, is basically we're drawing a line here and saying from this date forth, you will comply. Am I correct?
Yes, and it's because of the factual bases where I can't give you good advice about the things that may or may not have happened in 2010, 2011. I can give you good advice about compliance with the ordinance today and what it requires and how, if the ordinance is not right with going forward, the proper steps to take. But I'm very reluctant to look back, and I don't think I think we should be looking forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Anderson.
Yes, this is Patricia Anderson. Okay, I believe the citizen's question, at least part of the question was, how far back can we request that these agencies send us copies of any letters that they received from Ed Foster on town letterhead and that he signed as mayor?
Okay, I might have misunderstood that original question, so I apologize. You can ask as far back as you want, and then the appropriate step, which I would recommend, is when you get letters that were not approved by a majority of the council, then you notify that agency that the letter was not authorized to be forwarded by a majority of the council. And, if it doesn't reflect the actual provision, the town could also take that. But you can go back as far as you want in terms of gathering up letters and notifying the agency that the letter was not authorized by a majority of the council in accordance with the ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goodwin.
Is that all?
Basically, what we would use, I guess, these earlier letters for, then earlier than today, would be just for background information. We're not going to use those for censure or anything beyond that, looking down the road if it's needed. Am I correct?
Could we not?
Well, I think what I'm hearing our attorney say, if I can interject, is that if it turns out that there were some past communications, you would probably want to direct the town manager to advise those agencies that those communications were not authorized.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that makes, yeah.
And then I'm really kind of an optimistic, positive kind of person, and I think the town of Forsyth is really on a good track and going forward. So that's why I think let's just draw a line and go forward. If you really think there were egregious things that happened in the past, then you can look at them. But I think it's just in the best interest of Forsyth to go forward on a going forward basis if you want.
This is Sandra Gilbert.
And I have no idea, that's one of the reasons I said that I don't want to go back to 2010 and 2011, is because I invariably find that the facts that I think happened, there was either an explanation or they didn't happen or there was a misunderstanding or something, and it's so hard to go back and recreate things sometimes. But if it should turn out that it's crystal clear, what happened in the past, maybe we could take a look at it, but my recommendation is just to take those for what they are, and on a going forward basis, you're going to enforce that ordinance and do so.
Okay. We have a member of the public wishes to speak, Susan.
Miss Susan, this is Sandra Gilbert speaking as a citizen only and as following the facts of all of this for the past 4 years, even more so than being attacked personally. You said that it would be only if it could make something very crystal clear. Well, I could assure you that it would make it very crystal clear that from 2010 this has been personal attacks on our community. And my only reason for suggesting that and bringing it to focus is to show a repeat offender's chronic behavior of getting by with the same action with no consequence. That would be my only reason, not a personal matter or for any of the other town issues or involvement, just this particular situation. And thank you very much for allowing me to speak and for your time. Thank you.
Did you hear all that, Ms. Goodwin?
Yes, I did. I didn't have a question. I didn't hear a question there.
No, it wasn't. I think it was just a comment.
Right, and that's why it was my intention to go from just this period.
When he was sworn in for this term.
Correct, because even if, and let's say that he did, let's say he sent 5 transmissions out then. Unless we're willing to take legal action against him backwards, then what purpose are we actually serving?
And I think,
And that's why I would prefer
right,
that.
my memory is often a little cloudy when going back into the past, as many of us are, but I think he was censured at least once for this behavior before.
Right.
Yeah, so going back isn't going to do any good. He's already been punished.
Right. So, and a previous term, my position, and my request would be,
New terms.
let it stay previous.
Yeah, okay.
I would rather go for compliance
Mhm.
and from now than to try and go back and dig up a horse that's already been killed.
Would you like to amend your motion to set a deadline?
Okay, what does the council want? If we wanted 2 weeks, I looked at my calendar. 2 weeks would give us the February 20th. If you waited another 3/4 of a week, 3 weeks really, would be our regular council meeting of February 26th on the Tuesday.
May I ask a question? What is the deadline for?
For him to turn in all the copies of all
Okay, I understand.
unapproved letters.
Okay, now we've also asked the interim town manager to contact these agencies plus a couple of more.
Correct.
Their government, we know they don't move very quickly. I would say we need to give ourselves enough time for them to respond back to us.
I agree, because he can, let's say he gives us 5 letters.
So maybe 55 out there.
Right. And he says, I gave you everything I have. We say, thank you very much, we put those on file. And then 1 week, 2 weeks, next thing you know, it starts raining letters.
Well, how about we give him a deadline of 30 days? And we can't give a deadline to the government agencies.
No.
They don't
I
work well with
agree.
the deadline.
And
What do you got, Captain?
so,
So
yeah,
we're still having a discussion, if I might.
yes, but we will look at.
Council, we still have Susan on the phone.
Right, we
need
know.
to keep that on the phone.
Do you have any comments, Susan, on what's happening?
Nothing to add to what I already said.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't think we need Susan any longer. Thank you very much, Susan, for your advice.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. I'll be here if you call back.
Okay, thank you.
Susan.
Okay, so if we did 30 days, we would pretty much look somewhere 30 days, 4 weeks. You'd be looking at roughly Wednesday the 6th or the 13th of March.
Okay, if you go to the 13th, what's the council meeting closest to that?
Tuesday the 12th.
Okay, so set the deadline then for the Friday before.
Set the deadline, you're saying, for
Friday
February 8th.
before, that way it can be on the agenda for that council meeting.
March 8th. Okay.
Now, who's that deadline?
For complaint.
Yes,
Turning it down.
I'll end up amending my motion one more time.
It's all being related, I can motion.
Ms. Anderson?
Hopefully this will be my last comment. I can feel the frustration. I totally feel the frustration. But my thought, again, is to give these agencies time to respond. Hopefully they will in that time frame. Thank you.
And I think most everybody out there realizes that if we're asking one member of our council to go by the book, we have to do it too.
Yes.
So, and I would just like to direct Ms. Bruno to maybe have that letter ready to go by the end of this week. Or tomorrow.
How about this afternoon?
Okay. That's the main.
You volunteered.
My point is, we need to let these people who this communication went to know that it was not authorized at all.
We will place this as a very high priority. I would like to have Susan review the communication, and she is very quick to respond. So that's the only request that I will make.
And maybe also a place for everyone who votes in favor of this to sign that letter to those agencies.
We can do that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Are we going to reread the entire
This is going to be.
motion as amended, as amended, as amended?
No?
No,
No?
Just,
amended.
just give me the amendment part, the part that.
Okay. I motion that we amend the amendment to include that the mayor would turn over all the documents no later than close of business Thursday, March 7th, 2013. Yeah, that's right here.
And
That's it.
and direct the letter for Ms. Bruno to go out.
And that the letter include a sign-off for council
All
members.
council members, yes.
Mhm.
All that vote,
Okay.
the majority of the council members. We don't have a vote yet.
Okay, now we'll second the amendment to the amendment.
There you go.
All right. We have a motion that has been amended and seconded. We've had the discussion. We'll go to the vote now. All in favor of the amendment, of the motion as amended and amended, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Or against?
Nay.
Majority carries aye. Being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.